Hey, so a little birdie told me that you're interested in making a PNGTuber. Now before you get upset at that little bird for ratting you out, just know that I'm here to teach you how to make a fully functional PNGTuber, like this one, completely for free. Now there are a few things that get said when you talk about making a VTuber of any kind. The first one being, I don't know how to draw. How can I get a free VTuber without any art skills? And the second one being, I don't have a computer. How am I supposed to run programs like VTube or PNGTuber Plus without a computer? And to that I say, you've come to the right place. All you need is a little app called Prism Live. So you're just going to go ahead and get on the App Store. This is available on both iOS and Android, so you don't have to worry about that. You're going to go to your bar and search for Prism Live, obviously, as you can see I'm doing. And hopefully it should be that first option there, as you can see on my screen. And I have an update apparently, so we're gonna do that real quick before anything else. And now we're just going to open the app. You'll be brought to the loading screen here. Now normally this would be your camera here, but my room is dark so you can't see anything. You're just gonna go ahead and click the live button there and click VTuber. And this should be the screen that you see when you do that. So I did not draw this model. This is not something I created. This is one of the base models that actually come in the app, and you can actually go in and change them if you want. So the first thing you're going to want to do is click the little person button in the upper corner, and this will take you into the avatar menu where you can see all the different preset avatars. They have a large variety with different styles, so if one style doesn't suit you, maybe another one will. So they do have quite a few choices if you do not have the art skills to make your own avatar. The avatars you made will be at the front, so you don't have to search to find them. As you can see, this is my model, and I've made different emotions for it, starting with the default basic happy one, extra happy, which is just keeping her eyes closed. We have sad, obviously, with the tears in her eyes. We have shocked. We have inquiring, I guess, and then we have this silly little one that I wanted to put in. But let's start off with the most important thing, actually making your model. Now, if you're going to be using one of the presets, you can skip to this time I have put on the screen. But if you want to watch my process of making this model here, feel free to stay and watch. So I started off with some concept art because I wanted to make a new character, and when you don't know what a character looks like, you have to have some sort of frame of reference if you want to keep drawing them again and again. I knew from the start that I wanted to make some sort of jester or clown character because I have been obsessed with dressing up as them recently and just doing the makeup, and it's a whole lot of fun. The idea of this stage was just to get my ideas down as quick as possible so I could have like some sort of frame of reference, because this was more of an idea rather than set in stone design. I also wanted to make something on the simpler side because I already knew that I'd have to be drawing this character over and over again. And with my normal style, I did not want to spend 3 to 4 hours drawing just one sprite, just to potentially have to do it all over again. Now, if you already know what your character looks like and you have drawn them a lot, you have a lot of art, you have a lot of references of them, you can skip this stage. I personally did this even though I have a few different personas, mainly because I felt like they didn't fit me anymore and I wanted something that felt more like me currently. For this character, I ended up using a random color generator because the colors weren't coloring for me when I made this, but I actually ended up really liking it, so it doesn't matter too much. This is the finished concept art, and I used this to just kind of have a basic idea of what I wanted the model to look like. I didn't stick too firmly to this design because I wanted to have the freedom to mess around with it a little bit if I did not like something. An important distinction I feel the need to get out of the way is that this app is not like PNGTuber Plus. I feel like a lot of PNGTuber models are becoming more similar to VTuber models, in which you cut your model to function more like a puppet rather than a flat image that just gets changed between mouth open, mouth closed. Which isn't a bad thing at all. I personally love the look of PNGTuber Plus models, and I think they look fantastic when done right. This app is more like VTube, where you just need to draw your character with their mouth open, mouth closed, and when the app hears a certain amount of audio, it will change between the two images. So if you really wanted one of those bouncy PNGTuber Plus models, unfortunately that's not going to happen with this app. While you don't need to cut your model to make things in Prism Live, I would suggest keeping the eyes, nose, mouth, and eyebrows on different layers so that way you can easily change them without having to mess around with your layers too much. This part isn't about Prism Live, but as I was making this model, I was thinking, oh man, what if I don't make the clothes time frame accurate? What if I do something that's historically inaccurate with the clothes? And then I remembered two things. One, this is my model and I can do what I want. Two, would women even be jesters? Would that be a thing? I have to Google that now. I haven't checked. I need to do that. So according to this little blip here, yes, women could have been jesters, but it was much more common for men to be jesters. And my first point still stands. It's my model, I can do what I want. Especially since the goal of this model wasn't to be historically accurate anyway. Also, I just had a thought. She's an elf, and elves historically aren't accurate. Elves do not exist and therefore could not be jesters. Already, my model is not historically accurate. At the ending, I had to raise the eyes and eyebrows because I had a technical issue where I ended up putting the eyes higher up on the turned head and then ended up liking the eyes higher up on the face anyway. When you're done making your sprite, you now have to make 3 variations of it. Eyes open, mouth closed. Eyes open, mouth open. Eyes closed, mouth closed. And eyes closed, mouth open. This is so that way when you put it in the program, it appears that your model is talking and blinking. Blinks are done in the program automatically, whereas talking happens when the mic senses a certain amount of audio. Now, typically I would show my process for making the other expressions, but it's pretty much rinse and repeat from here. So it's mostly the same process as this sprite. This sprite's literally just a copy, but her eyes are closed. And I am of the firm belief of make things easier for yourself. So a lot of these I have just copy pasted different parts of the body, the hair, so that way it was easier for me to make the whole model. I mean, unless you want to see the multiple hour-long beef I had with this model's hands, but hands. And now for the moment everyone's been waiting for, actually getting to make your model. I feel like this is one of the more fun parts because you actually get to see your model completed. You get to see the different emotions, the expressions, the movement. I feel like it's a lot of fun and you just get to see it all put together, and it's really cute when it's done right. So I will be showing you how to make your own model with some older sprites that I have so I don't have to fiddle around with my current model. I know for Procreate and Ibis Paint, there are settings in the art that makes your background transparent. I'm not sure about other programs. So all of my art is already transparent and I just mass saved all of them to my photos. In Prism Live, you're going to click that little person button again, get into your avatar menu, and you're going to click Register New Avatar. This is where you can mess around with different emotions. The default emotion that the app gives you is the happy one, so you're going to go ahead and put in your normal happy emotions there. Most people are going to want more than one emotion, so you're going to go ahead and click the Edit button in the corner there. Pressing that plus button will allow you to choose another emotion, and then you'll just choose the emoji you want associated with the emotion. Now for those of you who accidentally click the wrong emoji like I have before, here's how you get rid of an emotion you don't want. Up in the right corner there's a button that says Edit. If you press that, you'll see the emojis have a little minus button on them, and you can just click it and delete it. You can also rearrange emojis with that same edit button if you put them out of order or if you just prefer them in a different order than what you have. I personally liked my original order, so I just switched them back when I was done. Here I just did happiness with closed eyes, and so I just did my happy model, but with closed happy eyes. And you just do that again for the different emotions that you want to have. Now you can see where my model has the bottom cut off, so if you tap on the model, it will come up with a little box around it, and you can zoom in and move it around as you wish. And if you tap off it again, it goes away. If you want to change your model's emotions, right next to the person button is a little square face, and you can click on that, and that will let you choose between the different emotions that you have for your model. You can also go into the emotion settings from this menu. By clicking the edit button, it will take you into the model settings, where you can then tap on their model and look at the different emotions. If you don't like your PNGTuber being static, you can also add movement. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see 2 options. Speaking disabled, meaning your model will move when there's no audio, and speaking enabled, meaning your model will move when there is audio. You can have speaking disabled and enabled on at the same time, which can lead to some interesting events. Hey. So on my original model, you can tell I didn't add any movement, and that's just mainly because the movement is too intense for me. Why is it so aggressive? Like, look at her go. That's why I wish I could tone it down a bit. Like I can't even control just how fast she's shaking, and it's kind of like frustrating. Like, have you noticed how when I'm not talking loud enough for the app to register my voice, my model will just snap back down like that? I'm not a big fan of that snap down, so it bugs me a little bit. This app does not let you change the intensity of things like this, and that is why I just personally keep it off because I'm not a fan. However, if you like the quick snappy look, completely go for it. You know, you do you. So there's actually more that you can do with this app, but it doesn't have anything to do with the model. You're actually able to add items and backgrounds while recording. If you go into the emotion menu again, next to the word emotion you see 2 tabs that says items and backgrounds. You can add an item in the foreground to make your VTuber's face feel more personalized. However, you can only have one at a time, as I found out right here. And yes, you can add your own if you want by clicking the edit button there in the menu. And I would have done this if I had known about it at the time because I was just fiddling with it. And you can do the same for the backgrounds. There's a lot of preset backgrounds that you can choose from, including a green screen if you need one of those. But there's a bunch of different presets, and you can add your own if you don't like any of the ones that are there. The off button does not give you a transparent background like I had hoped. It actually lets your camera record through while you are VTubing. Overall, this app is really good for someone who wants to get into being a PNGTuber. The app is very easy to learn, and I had little to no technical issues while working on it. Anything that was a technical issue was from Procreate, which really sucked. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot, and I hope you enjoyed this video.